This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1080, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
In Nashville, Tennessee, our very own downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Derek is still in LA. He's with his wife celebrating an anniversary, I believe. So he won't be with us today. But guess who is with us today? Who came back last night from Uganda. Please welcome back author, podcaster, speaker, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
How are you not asleep right now? You traveled from Uganda yesterday.
Well, listen, let me tell you how I'm not asleep I got up early. I'll be asleep by like 4 today. That's what will happen.
Yeah, coming west is always easier than going east to me on the jet lag.
It was a great trip. I went with an organization that is out of Fort Worth called Therefore Gathering. They put on teen conferences. We did one in Uganda, partnering with Amazama, Katie Davis Majors. She's awesome. We partnered with her school, and then we went and saw Bob Goff's, one of his safe houses there in Uganda. So we partnered with them. And then one more organization, Rescue One More. A lot of safe houses we visit. So it was really, 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 really great. But I'm telling you, I was so happy to be home. My bed last night, it's the best it's ever felt in my entire life.
How long was the trip?
Yeah, how long was the trip?
Okay, I was acting like I'm gone for months. I was gone for 10 days, you guys.
Still,
it's not that long.
That's a long time.
But it's 10 days not in your own bed. I know.
10 days is I think 5 days is
your max.
That's when a trip is really a trip, right? Like, otherwise we're in long weekend territory. Once you hit that 5,
exactly, like long weekend in Uganda.
But 10 days, I mean, you're reprogrammed to a whole new routine at that point.
Whole new, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So I get it, Jamie. Well, we appreciate you being on the show.
I think it's awesome you got to spend 10 days there because, like, up until COVID, like my international travel was like because of co-parenting. Very truncated. So like I would literally fly to Morocco for 2 days or fly to Rome for 2 days or fly to Africa for 2 or 3 days and then come back. And that is exhausting. So the fact that you got to settle in and, spend time there is
full
good.
Disclosure, 10 days includes travel as well. So, you travel for, like it feels like 48 hours. Like I got home last night, planes got delayed. I had to fly to Houston, rent a car, drive home, got home at like 6:30 and realized I've been up for like 48 hours. I mean, it's just terrible.
Do you sleep on planes?
Not very well.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm back there in the back, with the regular people. So I wasn't laying down. I know sometimes you guys travel, you get to lay down, go to sleep, which is a whole different experience.
Not internationally. Those tickets are like 10 grand.
Okay, I have flown first class internationally before, and I'm just here I didn't this time. I've flown it before. You got the miles, American, all the thing. It is, I'm not going to say it's worth every penny because it's a lot of pennies, but I'm just going to say it's nice.
From what I've seen on random videos online, it does look very nice, but it also sometimes strikes me as like, I could get this same experience at like, just a nice like hotel,
not
for
$8,000.
yeah, exactly. Like, or I could just sit in a seat for 4 hours. Here's my issue with plane sleep. If you guys don't mind.
I don't mind. Please.
I can. The problem is no airline has designed a plane that has adequate solution for where your head's supposed to go. If you don't have a window to prop that 100%. Head on, it's just bobbing around there and you keep waking yourself up. Now I don't have the
Do you not know about the headrest corners?
They don't work.
It depends on how tall you are, where you lay or whatever. Like you just can't.
They go up and down.
I know they do, but they literally are just not the work. I bought a special pillow for this trip. I'm returning it. It sucked. It was terrible because
I'm a window guy for this exact reason that you can just lean your head on the side of the plane.
I'm an aisle girl, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go window because I want to sleep. But I was on a plane one time and a guy took off his belt. Okay.
Ooh.
And he put it around the back of the headrest. Around his forehead.
Oh, wow.
So the belt was keeping his head in place so that he could close his eye. Because I'll do the thing where I close my eyes, my head's just like bobbing up and down. It's terrible. You keep waking yourself up.
He's strapped in.
He strapped his head to the seat with his belt. And like Sometimes I'm like, I wish I didn't have the pride to prevent myself from doing that,
That man
because
is
it
an
looked like he
innovator.
slept. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip of the lady who bought 3 seats together
Yes.
in the middle
And then
aisle?
plastic wrapped
plastic wrap?
And then once they took off, she got out her saran wrap and wrapped all 3. I'm going, if I'm the person behind
I'm
them or
pissed.
in front,
No.
because you're putting your saran wrap on my seat.
Yes.
Why would,
Like if I'm sitting in front of you.
She made her own little
She
first
wanted to
class
make herself
cave.
like a little cave, a privacy cabin, like first class. So she wrapped the entire perimeter of all 3 seats to make a little apartment in
Which
the middle
I
of
have
the
to
plane.
ask, is buying 3 seats really that much cheaper than just buying 1 first class ticket?
That's a good
Wow,
point.
that's a good question. But listen, also this guy was on my plane last night. His wife and his son were sitting behind me, and apparently he got upgraded, so he was in first class. But the entire flight, he came back and hung out with them. I literally was like, "Sir, if you want, I'll trade you seats. You can sit here next to my daughter. She's lovely. I will go up to first class. Like I'll leave her to go up there because you're apparently not enjoying this." He kept walking back and forth, back and forth. Really bothered me. I was like, "Sir, leave your wife and kids. Go enjoy it, or give it to her. Just somebody
I'm sorry.
take it."
That's the move. I can't believe he didn't give her the upgrade.
They switch sometimes, but it just was a lot of switching, and it was just I was just like, this is too much. Somebody go lay down and take a nap.
How long was that flight? Like where were you
9
flying from?
hours.
Oh, that's okay.
That was the
What was
second
your
flight.
layover? Was it Amsterdam?
So Amsterdam to Houston,
Mhm.
Amsterdam to.
So you
Tabby.
drove to Houston?
No,
Why
I
didn't you just
flew
fly to
out
Houston?
of Atlanta to meet the team on the way there. We were supposed to fly to Atlanta. That flight got delayed. I wouldn't have gotten home till like midnight. They switched me to Houston. I rented a car and drove home. While my
That's
daughter
only like
slept.
2
While
or
my
3
daughter
hours.
slept the whole time. Yeah, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
At one point,
Wow.
the car, you know, how the new cars these days will say like, it gives you like a warning or something. Driving home, this is so terrible, from Houston yesterday, a cup of coffee came up on the screen and the car told me, you should stop for caffeine. It literally told me that. And I'm like, how do you know I'm so tired? Maybe I'm swerving all over the road.
Yeah. Maybe it was like, you need some coffee.
You
This
need to
is bad.
stop, man, before you get in a wreck. But I made it home safely.
Was it a thing of like every 2 hours
No,
after
I
a
think
certain time of
literally
day?
I wasn't sleeping, but maybe I wasn't at my best.
Because my car has a camera inside the cabin, and if I'm not looking at the road or if I'm not as alert,
It wasn't that nice of a car, but
like it'll yell at me.
no.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyhow, I'm here.
We're so glad.
By the way, I don't like that feature.
It's
the way. I
rude.
don't
I'm like,
need my
mind your
car.
business.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have coffee when I want coffee. Car. Last time I checked, you're a car. You're going to be lucky if you get. You know what? I'm not going to give you gas. How do you like that? You're going to go without gas, and I haven't checked your oil. To be honest, I think ever. So keep it up, car.
So don't tell me what to do.
There's
Yeah.
other things we
Yeah.
could talk about.
Jesse, I heard that I heard a couple days ago, speaking of cars, that you finally have parted ways with your old truck that you've had for 15 years.
I did. I
can't
did.
believe
More-
this.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Were you
Well,
sad? Did you love that truck or did you hate that truck?
I was pretty indifferent about the truck. No, the problem was, as I've mentioned on this podcast, I've become very involved in the local little league situation, which involves carting around a lot of kids, and so we needed a third row. We needed a vehicle where we could get more.
You can't just stick them in
but
the
think
bed
all
of the
kids,
truck.
Yeah. So think of all the kids you can stick in the back
I
of a
used to
truck.
love
man.
doing that as a kid.
Who's saying I didn't do that?
No.
But yeah, I parted ways, and we have a new vehicle, a Volkswagen Atlas, which we've been enjoying. But yeah, I was I'm not real sentimental about cars. Yeah, like I don't really get to it. My dad growing up had a used car lot. And so we had different cars all the time. So I just never got too attached. But the truck held up well.
I was saying, when somebody has a truck, as long as you had that truck, I thought surely it's just because he just loves his truck.
No. It was laziness and indifference. Two factors that play into, I would say, most decisions I make in my adult life.
Yeah.
So you didn't name the truck, have a whole story for it or anything.
Laziness, indifference, convenience. That is my triune of decision making. What's the least amount of work?
Uh-huh.
How much little thought or work do I need to put into something? And usually that's why I'm making the call. And that's what happened with the truck. I do have one. I was talking to the guy because I did it on Facebook Market. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. And it sold within an hour. I had someone.
I assume there's not many cars on Facebook Marketplace. So
you assume
There's
incorrectly.
a lot.
You
Really?
assume
Yeah.
incorrectly. Yeah.
Oof,
I
yes.
had it up for an hour before I had someone tell. Anyway, so the guy comes to my house, and this is the only time, Cameron, to mention to that I felt sentimental, and I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, who's the truck for? The guys, we got to chatting, he's a family man, and he's like, oh, my sister has some property up on the Eastern Shore, and the driveway is really long, and it's really a hassle for her to haul the garbage to the curb. And so we needed a truck that once a week I could fill with garbage and take it up a wooded driveway. I'm like, hold on, you could have just said it's for my sister. You didn't have to tell me that the sole reason you want this truck is to haul garbage up and down a driveway. Like, the truck is becoming less than a garbage truck. They are just tossing raw garbage in it and driving it up. It's not even going anywhere. It's not even doing. It's not like, at least just going back and forth to some cool, recycling center. They just don't want to walk up the driveway. Well, something. Just because you don't want to walk it up a driveway, so you're using a truck that I've spent hundreds of hours of my life in, that I brought my kids home from the hospital in, is a glorified, just garbage truck to you.
It's a wheelbarrow.
Deals
now.
off. Yeah. Deals off. Yeah.
was there a part of you that really wanted to say like deals off? Because I would be like, you know what? Actually, I have a different offer.
Well, up until I realized I would have to repost it and go through that whole hassle again. I'm like, again, the triune of laziness, convenience, and indifference kicked in. And,
One out,
And he pulled a giant wad of cash out of his pocket. That helped too. When he told me this was a cash interaction, I'm like, all right, do whatever you want with it. I don't care.
That eased your sorrows just a little bit.
Life goals to be at the point in your life where you have so much property that you need to buy a truck just to haul trash once a week. I mean, that's like
really.
Again, I don't know if it was even that far, to be honest. I'm assuming, but that's just an assumption.
Maybe he's buying it just because of your exact reason for keeping it so long. Laziness. And
convenience and
indifference. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to Henry and Alex Seeley. They are the pastors of the Belonging Co. in Nashville. You probably know the Belonging Co.'s worship. They're one of the leading worship churches in the country. The likes of Carrie Job and Natalie Grant and others lead there. But Alex and Henry Seeley are the pastors, and they're joining us today. Also, we have your feedback at the end of the show. And right now, stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant Buzz. You're listening to Beck and Phoenix. The song is Odyssey. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Guys, hold on. Before we get to this, I haven't thought about this, and I was hesitant. I'm hesitant to even say it, but it's an ethical dilemma, and you guys let me know if I was in the wrong here. If this was manipulative, okay? Again, I would never have thought twice about this, but since we're talking about the car sale, because it was done through Facebook, it's linked to a Facebook account, right? So I was just curious, and the guy's coming to my house, okay, for the car, and so I'm gonna go on his profile and just learn a little bit about him, just to see who I'm dealing with here. Yeah, so I clicked on his profile, kind of click it. Jamie, you would do this, right? If someone's coming to your house,
100%,
to buy a car,
if they're showing up to your house, yeah.
I've never sold anything on this thing, so I don't know. Okay, so
it wasn't like I was suspicious. It was more or less kind of curiosity. Who's this person?
For sure.
So I went on his profile and kind of was just perusing around. Seemed like a normal guy, a family man. But I saw a lot of Bible verses. Okay, he seemed to be active in his church. Okay. Good. I knew he was going to come and test drive it first, like take it around, And so I wanted him to know that I'm an honest guy and that he's dealing with another believer. But
did you put a Bible in it?
But I pre-tuned the radio because I pre-tuned the radio to the Christian station.
Love it.
Yes, you did,
and turned it up so that when he started it up, it would, even though. Real talk, I don't listen to Christian radio in my car. But I wanted to do it in a way that wasn't like,
salesmanship,
hey,
man.
Brother.
You're selling a dream. You're selling a vision. Was that
spiritually manipulative, or was it a way that I could just let him know, look, I'm honest.
Dude,
like you're dealing with
somebody, you clean up the house before you have guests.
But again, this wasn't me cleaning up the car, which I did. This was me pre-tuning the radio to the Christian station.
Okay. Your friends coming over for dinner.
A little wink, wink. Like, hey, we're the same.
That's
great.
what I was trying
Christians
to do.
looking out for Christians.
You should have worn a T-shirt from like your church softball league or something.
I thought about it, but either way, you guys tell me. He rings
the doorbell and you come and you're like, oh, so sorry, we were just having family prayer time.
Is it a gray area of because it wasn't really pre-toned to that? I did it right before he came over.
No, I think it's great. I thought you were going to say like you wrote like a Bible verse out and like put it on the sticky notes.
You added a Jesus fish sticker to the back of the car.
No. This was more subtle. But I did turn it up.
I think it's great.
I did turn it up, so it's unavoidable. Okay.
You're in the clear.
But I will say this: when he returned from the test drive, the radio was on a different station.
Ooh.
So this is Seinfeld now.
So maybe he doesn't love God as much as you think he does.
No. I mean, we ended up talking about our churches later. I don't know that. Maybe I'm overthinking this.
My question is, if you're taking a quick test drive in a vehicle and the person has the radio tuned to a certain station and you don't want to hear it, you just turn it down. Why would he change the station? That is actually very strange.
Yeah. Remember, this is just to be. This truck is only going to be used to haul garbage up and down driveway. I don't even think he's turning on the stereo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I haven't really thought about this since a few weeks ago when I sold the truck. But now that you guys bring it up, it's a difficult situation to reconcile here.
Yeah. No, it's not spiritual manipulation. This will make you feel better. I had a friend who used to keep a Bible in her glove compartment so that when she would get pulled over, and she had to give her insurance, she would pull out her Bible, hand it to the officer and say, oh, sorry, can you hold this? While then she grabbed her insurance.
100%.
Okay, that might be spiritual manipulation.
It was. But she got pulled over a lot, so she kind of needed some help on her side.
That's borderline using the Lord's name in vain. But I will say, speaking of this scenario, I was moving. Years ago, I was interning at Relevant in Florida, and so I had all my school stuff. I was still in college, and I was taking courses like remotely because I was living in Florida. Anyway, one of the class at the time, this is how this ages me, but also even at the time it was very dated, but it was ORU at not a great time. Anyway, if you were taking correspondence classes, you had VHS tapes. Okay. The lectures were on VHS tapes. And I had to take, yes,
just to be clear to everybody, this is in the 2000s. This isn't the 1990s or 80s or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
DVDs were definitely a thing at this point.
DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. And so was the internet. Okay. It wasn't. But either way.
Not 1973.
Right.
Exactly.
Well,
this was like 2005.
ORU
but
was.
Either way. Yeah. ORU paused in 1973 for about 40 years.
About 40 years. They're out of that pause now in a big way, but when he and I were there, it was a retro experience.
It's like how Steve Martin paused at the age of like 55 when he was like in his early 20s and just paused at 55. Like that was like ORU pausing in 1973. It just didn't age. Either way. So I'm driving back from Florida up to Virginia, and I have all my stuff in my car, but in my front seat there were so many of these VHS tapes, and I had to take Bible classes through Christian college, and it was Survey of New Testament. And I put them like in like a gym bag in my front seat, and I had all my stuff. Anyway, driving, get pulled over. And at the time, Cameron, you knew me well back then. I kind of had longish hair. It wasn't the most reputable looking young man, and I got pulled over.
He liked the emo. He liked the ska.
I was thinking you had like a puka shell necklace, like that kind of vibe.
He did.
Not during this incident.
Okay,
but I'm sure there was. I'm sure at some point I owned one. But either way, I'm driving. I got out of state plates. I got kind of a mangy looking dude. I get pulled over in like South Carolina or Georgia. And the cop is very convinced that I have illegal substances that I'm trafficking through the state. Like he actually, he says that, right? He's like, I know there's things in this car. He's like, I'm going to actually ask you if I have your permission to search the car. And if you say no, then it gives me probable cause, because why would you say no? So he's like, we can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way.
That's
the easy
manipulative.
He goes, the easy way is I search your car. The hard way is we get dogs out here and you're stuck on the side of the road. I'm like, well, dude, search away. I was a clean living guy. Anyway, the first thing he does, he's like, can I look in this gym bag here? And I'm like, yeah. He unzips it and he sees Oral Roberts' Survey of New Testament, about 15 volumes of VHS tapes. He goes, I'll never forget. He goes, son, are these your, he was very uncomfortable. Are these your, religious tapes? I'm like, yes, sir. I watch them all the time. They're my favorite thing to watch. He was like, all right, just slow down. You can go.
Every ticket I got in high school, I played up the church kid angle as well, like turning on the Christian station as they walk up to the car so they can hear the Christian music playing. Or I get pulled over. Where are you going? Well, we were just leaving youth group at church, and
delivering supplies.
Just definitely every conversation was making them know I'm a good Christian kid. Like I'm sorry, I was going too fast, kind of a thing.
Here's what I learned from your story, Jesse: is if you do want to transport drugs, across state lines, just put it in a bag full of like religious tapes, and then 100%. You're good to go.
Because
hollow out the VHS cover, just fill it with a brick of cocaine, and you're good.
I think even for someone who might be a Christian, encountering someone with a gym bag full of religious VHS tapes, it just makes you a little uncomfortable. Like I don't really know.
It makes me uncomfortable right now. like meeting somebody who carried that around their front seat because they love it so much.
They never leave my side. I never know when I want to pull over and just pop in a new lecture on the book of First Peter. Who hasn't been there, officer?
All right, it's time for Relevant Buzz. Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, speaking of just bad Christian manipulation, a Sacramento restaurant has found itself at the center of this scandal involving the hiring of a priest to uncover any wrongdoings committed by its staff. So a restaurant? Yeah, a restaurant hired a priest to come in and basically coerce their staff into confessing their sins. So things like showing up late or theft or speaking ill of managers, different things like that. And obviously super illegal. The Department of Labor has gotten involved. There were a few other potential labor law violations, including like denial of overtime pay, using employee tip pool to pay managers, different things like that. So there's this big scandal going on. But the one that really drew our attention was the fact that they brought this priest in to confess the sins of workers.
So apparently the management was pretty shady and not paying everything they should be paying. And so they had unhappy staff. And then to squash the uprising, they brought in a priest and forced everybody to meet with the priest to confess their sins at the restaurant. Yeah. That is so funny to me.
I'm having trouble seeing what the problem is. Father, forgive me. I've been over-delivering and working too hard here, Father.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny too is, according to the Department of Labor report, they haven't been able to find the priest to confirm if this happened. So they don't even know if they hired a real priest or not, or if they just brought in a man.
Oh, they definitely did
to
not
pretend to be a priest.
They found him on Facebook Marketplace, and there it was. He's like, "Yes, I can do this."
Had a wad of cash. Yeah,
it's kind of like on The Office when they had to hire a nurse for the fun run where they're doing the rabies fundraiser. Yeah, to come get the check. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so if you want like Mexican food in Sacramento, stay away from, what is it, Taqueria? What's it called?
Wait, this is a Mexican food restaurant?
Taqueria Garibaldi. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the and the other thing, didn't they also threaten, if you don't confess to the priest, we're going to call in deportation violations and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So they forced the restaurant staff to meet with this priest.
Details are changing my stance.
This took a big turn.
Yeah. It wasn't a voluntary thing. Oh, by the way, there's a priest here today. If you want to sit on his lap and talk to him or whatever.
Yeah, it was threatening being fired, threatening being deported. So not great things.
Yeah. So
I was picturing this as a little, HR bonus here. Hey, you can come in and talk to HR.
It's not like a mental health service that they provide.
That's what I was picturing. Yeah. These new details that you're under threat of deportation changes it just a little.
And the staff was, obviously primarily immigrant and Spanish speaking and stuff like that. It's a very Catholic nation. And so it's the threat of I can't lie to a priest. I mean, they literally were coercing them in every possible way to, trap them and get them in trouble. So, and then once they had the goods on them, then they used that to keep them trapped and working there. So it was a terrible situation that had a funny headline.
I wasn't realizing we're dealing with blackmail here.
Yeah, it's really what it was.
This was just a cool
just
little
a fun time to confess your sins of the workplace.
No.
Kind of dark. What else is going on, Emily?
I know we've talked about this a lot, but it really just is a big issue we need to keep talking about. Church attendance is, according to a new study, still below pre-pandemic levels. So in 2019, about 34% of Americans were attending church. 3 years after the pandemic, it's still only up to 31%. And it just really hasn't been growing much. And, a lot of churches are just trying to figure out what can they do differently. I do think it is important to note that there are a lot more live stream services. About 40% of people say they're still watching online church. So that is kind of affecting the numbers too, I think, of in-person attendance versus who's at least tuning in online. But, it's just something that we need to keep our eye on.
It's very interesting. And I wonder, there will be so many things that we look back from what COVID and the pandemic and everything, how it changed not only our lifestyles, but also how we do community and how we do life. And I think this is one that we can look back, that we'll look back on as a church and say this was so hard for us. I mean, even just being in Uganda this last couple of weeks, dear Lord, when was I there? I just said this last year, this last couple of weeks, even being in Uganda recently.
Mere hours ago.
Literally yesterday, Jamie. Literally yesterday.
They talked about how the pandemic has hurt so many of their community building things in their country. And so it's worldwide. And I think it's going to be something we're going to look back and say, wow, this really, really affected the church. But also it's an opportunity for us to say, okay, so let's just say that it affected us, but now what do we do about it? And so I think that's interesting to see how churches are maybe combating the loss of attendance in that way.
I think the drop is because of Jesse. People just being lazy and getting used to being lazy. I think there's more people convenience because we went through COVID, everything shuts down for 3 months, 6 months to a year, depending on where you were living. Here in Florida, it was about 6 or 7 days, a solid 6 or 7 days.
Hours.
Yeah. Like a Jamie trip to Uganda. That was our COVID lockdown.
It was, it was a Saturday.
Actually, it was a Sunday. It was my birthday, March 15th. but I think people, we can't go to church on Sunday. And I think people just got out of the habit. And I have so many friends that we would go to church every Sunday. I mean, it was our community. We go out to lunch afterwards or whatever. And they haven't been to a church in 3 years, because they just got used to not going to church. And then it's just like, I have 2 weekend days now. And it's like a totally different thing. And I think they just got used to it and there's no real impetus to go back,
Can I ask this question? And I don't mean to say anything poorly about anyone that those are your friends that is choosing to do that. Obviously, it's a lot of people. We see the statistics, but it makes me wonder, obviously going to church does not make you a Christian at all. Going to church, it's just not like, check, I'm in good standing with the Lord. But it is something that God is like, hey, I want you to gather with the people. It's a way to worship. It's a way to grow, all the things. And so we believe in it. It makes me wonder if that percentage of people who aren't going, maybe they also are not as strong in their faith, or maybe their faith is even dwindled. So it was like almost like this, here's what we do because we are like Christians in America. And now it's like, well, I don't even really think I believe all this stuff anymore.
See, but my friends, they haven't like deconstructed or anything like that. They would say all the right things, but like, is it a passionate part of their lives? Is their faith life robust? Is it central to their lives? No. Are they cultural / intellectual Christians? Yeah. Do they still listen to Mav City music and follow Judah Smith on Instagram? Yeah. Do they still read Lisa Turker's new devotional every morning? Yeah. Have they been to church in 3 years? Nope.
Do they still drive around with VHS tapes of lectures on the survey of the New Testament? No, but I think also, Jamie, to your point, I think like for all the reasons you just described, Cameron, people get it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things are not going back to the way they were pre-pandemic, lifestyle wise, But I don't feel like that's necessarily indictment on churchgoers. I think it's something for churches to be like, look, obviously people didn't feel like we were a critical part of their lives if they can just stop going one day and never return. They're returning everywhere else. We're going to sports games and stadiums and air travel and back in the office and all this kind of stuff because those things felt like things people wanted back in their lives. So like, I think to some degree it's on, the people who lead churches to figure out, well, what can we, how can we make ourselves so important to to our communities that, people want to come back, not feel like obligated to,
I'll be honest with you. That was me right there. Cause like I was visiting churches post-COVID. My church actually during COVID, like the pastor left and like a whole bunch of other non-COVID related reasons, the church basically imploded. And coming back, I had to find a new church family. And like that was hard and daunting, right? So I dragged my feet for a year or so and I would do online church or whatever, but my heart wasn't in it. It felt like an obligation. And because of Cohen, honestly, because of the stage of life he's entering in middle school and stuff like that, like I was like, okay, I need to get past myself and I need to get us in church again, right? It's an important period for him. And so I kind of bit the bullet and kind of like, we just would visit around and it was just like been there, done that. It was just the same old, right? And so if you don't have a kid, like forcing you to do it, I can see why I don't need to. I can fill this gap in other ways with other media and different things. But when we stumbled on the church that we've been going to for the last year and a half, and I went in for the first time, it was exactly what you were saying, Jesse. It was different. It was alive. Like the Holy Spirit was there. People were getting saved. They were doing outreach in the community. It was like they were making a difference. And it was like a place I wanted to be. Like I hadn't seen church like this in years because it was like, oh my goodness. And it opened my heart and my mind and my spiritual life again. Like it's almost like I didn't realize how calloused and almost numb I had gotten to things. And I'd become more of an intellectual faith. And it was just like my heart got opened up again. And I can't wait to be there every Sunday. And I hope that people can find that, like in their communities, because it really is like, I see the difference in my own mental health and emotional health and spiritual health before and after. Like those couple of years that I was just kind of not going or phoning it in. And then now it's just like, it's just life-giving if you're in the right place, so hopefully people can find that, but apparently not many are.
Get yourself some VHS tape, just pop them in on Sunday morning and, try to get back when you can.
Yeah. All right. What else?
The last thing I want to talk about is just the rising debt ceiling that is really facing everyone. But there's a new report that came out that honestly really shocked me. The average millennial has over $78,000 of debt that they are facing.
Like, does it break it down? Like, is that a mortgage? Because that is a very low mortgage. Are you talking about like consumer debt? Car, student loans, credit cards?
Yeah, car,
sort of
student loans, and even sometimes just like unexpected expenses that they've had to like use their credit card debt for, put on their credit card, things like that. Just a lot. It doesn't mention mortgage specifically, but pretty much other loans and just credit card debt is what is really facing. And a lot of it is because of like inflation and rising interest rates, but not necessarily rising wages. And again, when you're already having to pay off these student loans or your mortgage or different things like that, like it's piling up more and more. And so many millennials are just saying like they feel like they will never be debt free in their life. That I think it was 29% said that they think they could maybe last 2 months being debt free, and then they'd have to start accumulating debt again just because to keep up with their lifestyle.
Wow, 78,000. That's not a small amount of money.
No, that's a significant amount. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like you said, Emily, like a lot of factors in play too. But I think it's also a generation where debt sort of normalized as well. Like it wasn't stigmatized. And I think, again, that's for a variety of factors. But I think one of them was marketing. Like student loans were, the first stop you made when you, went to go visit a school was in the,
financial aid department.
Yeah, exactly. And to figure out what they can do, the debt was so normalized that you didn't really care about the terms. It's just, everyone gets a student loan because how else am I going to pay for that? Or same thing with credit cards or car loans or whatever. It had become so normalized that I think a lot of people got comfortable to the point where their lifestyles depended on literally living above their means. Now, you throw an accelerating factor into it, like a housing crisis or a pandemic that causes rises in inflation, and you can see how that can quickly sort of snowball. But I do think, the only way to kind of change that is to not like stigmatize debt, but certainly approach, have an approach that isn't as casual as it seems to be now.
Yeah, it is interesting. I feel like so many people I know, it's just like we just assume debt is part of our lives. Like, the amount of my friends that we sort of joke, but we're not really joking about, like, yeah, we'll probably never own a house because like we just have so much, we have other things that we'll have to pay off and things like that. And I do think it has become normalized, and it is not a fun place to be as a young adult, like thinking about like how debt is just getting worse and worse. But
what was the number for Gen Z? What was Gen Z? It was like something like Gen Z is like 30-something thousand right now.
Gen Z is just a little bit under 10,000, which considering 10, the fact that the oldest Gen Z is like 26, like that's $10,000 is a lot for a 26-year-old or younger.
Or younger.
And again, that's average, so could be more, could be less.
Yeah. Financial literacy is something that we probably should emphasize a little bit more, other than just offering Financial Peace University and nothing else. Like there's got to be another conversation to be had about this.
Yeah.
If only we were in media and we could like lead some of these conversations. Let's do that. All right. Well, there's a lot more where that came from. Check out relevantmagazine.com. Every weekday where we're covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. All right. Thanks, Emily. All right. Stay tuned. Up next, Henry and Alex Seeley join us. You're listening to Oscar Lang and Wallace. The song is I've Never Been to LA. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Well, our guests today are Henry and Alex Seeley. They're the founders and pastors of the Belonging Co. in Nashville. Emily, who attends church there, sat down with them to hear more about the origin of the church and why they're so passionate about helping others create community, and also the pretty awesome worship stuff that's happening there. Here's our conversation with Henry and Alex Seeley.
I'd love to know, where do you feel like the church is at right now, and what are the things that we're dealing with, both good and bad?
Yeah. I mean, we have had a lot of conversations, Alex and I, together with our team, just in light of things that have been happening in the global church body right now. I think it's easy for people to get fixated and really tripped up by the things that we see, and we should pay attention to those. Absolutely. I hope that we all can learn from those things. But in the context of the global church, I think God is doing incredible things, and the church is doing incredible things across the earth. And even though there may be some small pockets where, things aren't going as we would all hope they would be going, there's definitely some very positive things that are happening, in our church, in many churches across the earth. And so I think it's a good season for the church to pay attention, for leaders to pay attention, for people to pay attention to what God is doing. And I believe God's, he's getting our attention right now. And I think in his grace and his mercy and his kindness towards us, he'll do everything that he can to help us not fall off the cliff. And I believe that God is arresting our hearts across the earth, that we would get back to, really what's important. And it doesn't mean that you throw out everything that you're doing and everything that you see along the way, but just making sure that those fundamental things are in place. And that, the reason that we're doing these things is not for ourselves. It is for God. It is to glorify him and to live out, the calling of the Great Commission, to go and make disciples, to go and heal the sick, to go and see the lost saved, and see the blind eyes open spiritually and physically, all of those things that are entailed in that, and, getting back to that core mission of what we're all about.
I am curious, all of these years in ministry, why do you feel like people struggle so much with finding a community?
Yeah. I think, it's so the assignment of the enemy to divide and conquer. If he can get you isolated, he can, work wonders with you and your mind. And I think, again, we have to fight this in every generation. I even think about my own life when I was a young adult, single, and going to church. There was this fear that I would be rejected, I would go to this, I went to a big church, when I was young, and I remember thinking, why isn't anybody coming towards me? And I think sometimes we get a false idea that church needs to be everything that we ever imagined it to be, but actually the responsibility is on us. I believe church is there, and we've got a bunch of crazy people, broken people, great people, strong people. But honestly, I've had to come to the realization that the church is there for us to be a part of. It's not there for us to draw from. You know, church is a two-way street. And I think if we can provide the environment, hey, this is a safe place. This is a place where we meet to celebrate God, but also you get to find your community of people. And that's not going to mean the whole church. I think we get into this false narrative of, I have to know the whole church. But, you know, if you work in a big organization, you're not going to know everyone in your organization, right? You're going to know the few people that you go to lunch with or you work in your area with, and the church is the same. And so we've just really tried to facilitate, hey guys, we're going to make it as safe as possible, but the onus is on you to get involved, to get part of a co-group, to start to serve. Like, we're going to make it as easy as we can for you, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to put yourself out there. And I think it's getting harder because we have a generation now that's behind screens. We don't know how to actually talk face to face anymore. We don't look in people's eyes. Everything's on a computer. It's a text. It's an app. And I think we've got to work extra hard to go, hey guys, if you want people in your life, you're going to have to put yourself out there. And then know it's a little uncomfortable, but the only way we're going to do life well is in community, because that's how God designed it.
Do y'all have just a message that you feel like young adults need to hear right now, or any sort of encouragement?
Wow.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a big question. I honestly think more than ever, I think young adults right now, they want authenticity. They want to see that Jesus is reflected as the real Jesus. But if I could say anything to young adults, is that pursue the Word of God and the presence of God relentlessly, because if you seek Him, you'll find Him.
Yeah. I think if I can add to that, you know, if I look back over my 30 years of walking with Jesus, you know, there's been many times, especially in the early days, where I got offended by things, or, you know, things people said, or ways that I felt that I'd been treated, and, you know, some things that leaders even said to me at times that I got offended by and felt rejected by, but I missed the fact that actually they weren't trying to reject me, they were trying to correct me. And because in my immaturity, I didn't understand that at the time. And I understand that, you know, some people have encountered, you know, actual church hurt and church abuse. I understand that. But at the same time, you know, church hurt is a word, you know, is a phrase that is getting thrown around like crazy right now. And listen, if you are hurting, I'm not saying that what you're feeling is invalid, but I do want to tell you this. Any relationship in life has the potential to hurt you. You know, like that is part of being vulnerable with people. And sometimes we get offended by things along the way. And sometimes it's just that we've misunderstood. We live in a generation right now where the enemy is working overtime to facilitate and, you know, enable this overly offendable society. You know, that's the society that we live in. Everybody's offended about something. You know, I don't believe in that. You hurt my feelings. You offended me when you said that. You know, this person's getting canceled. That's getting canceled. And, you know, if we buy into that, especially as believers, we actually shortchange ourselves and shortcut ourselves from stepping into the maturity that God has for us, because we're going to spend our lives on the sideline carrying offense rather than realizing, actually, that person probably wasn't trying to reject me. And even if they were, let me learn from that situation. You know, let me learn what I can and grow from it, because honestly, I am the person that I am today because I've walked through the hard moments and the hard times and learned how to bring it to God and say, God, I don't understand this. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that it was right, but actually bring a maturity that we can stand up on the truth of the gospel and unashamed of the gospel, not fearful, not having to, you know, pick it for the sake of the gospel, to actually show the gospel through love, because we're not insecure about our faith. We actually understand that the Word of God is the roadmap to the most blessed life that you can ever live. And sometimes that's going to offend our flesh, but we've got to realize God sees a bigger picture than we do. And so I would encourage you today, if you feel offended, if you've got some sort of offense that you're holding on to, that's a poison that's not hurting anybody else but yourself. And it doesn't mean that what happened to you was right, but I do believe that the power of the Holy Spirit, God can heal your heart and help you to move on from that pain and step into the best days of your life. So receive that today.
That was Henry and Alex Seeley. Make sure to check out the Belonging Co. Their worship is incredible. You can get it wherever you get your music. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
Run it up, 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 run it up. I see you walking in place, it's time to run it up. I see you walking in place, it's time to run it up. You was sleeping with disease, I went mouse mode for the cheese. You went rat mode, you a snitch. Took the back road, now we rich. Now we educated and we celebrated. Check the reputation in my presentation. I done demonstrated under dedication. Now they follow me, trying to replicate it. I was devastated, underestimated. Bring it back home like it's renovated. I was irritated, unmotivated. Math wasn't math and wrong calculations. I had tribulations with no visitations. I had limitations that I innovated. Had to go pro, I couldn't go basic. Had to run it up, went gold chasing. Ever felt pain, had to embrace it. Never pitch pause, cause the world waiting, now my heart racing.
You're listening to Live, bruh. The song is Run It Up. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. Okay, it's time for your feedback. So last week we got, I don't know why we were talking about TikTok videos, but we asked you for your favorite kind of weird TikTok videos. Send it in, we'll play them. And we were watching them and we realized you have to watch these. This is not a audio experience. Like we're watching a person fill a toy dump truck, Tonka truck with nachos. Like we can't exactly play that on the podcast. So if you want to see the videos that y'all sent in, go check out the mentions at Relevant Podcast on Twitter. Anyway, so this week's
editorial question of the week. Hey.
We were talking about Christian manipulation, getting out tickets, things like that. Not Christian manipulation in a bad way. We're not talking like abuse, okay? We're talking about little things that we've all done or experienced to kind of let the other person know, like, I'm a good person, to get out of trouble or to soften a situation or something like that. So Jesse pre-programming his truck to cater to his Christian buyer, me, telling every officer that's ever pulled me over that I was just driving home from church, that kind of stuff, So hit us up on Twitter and let us know the funniest or most egregious Christian manipulation, but I'm not talking about pastoral abuse here. I think these are going to make us
feel a little uncomfortable, maybe.
Like a little Christian wink, wink, I feel like that's what
a little Christian culture.
I like it.
Yeah.
I had a girl in my youth group when I was in
I had one too.
Tell me that God told her grandmother that her and I would be married. Now, I wouldn't marry her grandmother.
And that's your wife today.
Spoiler alert, I didn't marry this individual. So I don't know who grandma was hearing from. But,
wow.
I feel bad for girls in youth groups with how many lame guys have told them, by the way, God told me you're going to be my wife. Like, how does she get out of that? Like, sorry.
Can I tell you the worst spiritual manipulation that was ever done on me? That is not like a bad story of a pastor or whatever. But I broke up with this guy, and one of my reasons, it wasn't like God told me. It wasn't like I'm going to date Jesus, all those things. It was legitimately like I had just become a Christian, and he was not a Christian. And I'm like, I think I just it's not working, right? Yeah. So break up. He comes to my house with a Bible in hand and said he wants to talk to me. And he had to have just gone and unwrapped that from the local Lifeway, because I've never seen a Bible in his hand ever before. But he comes to my house with a Bible and said he wants to talk to me. That is spiritual manipulation, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
I didn't get back with him.
The worst, though, because I encountered this going to a Christian college. I saw this out in the wild. One member of the couple telling the other that God told them that they needed to break up.
Yeah.
Even if you genuinely feel like that, this is a pro tip for anyone dating out there. Even if you genuinely feel like that, don't put this on God, okay? Because then it's like, that person's getting broke up by two people. First, they're not going to have a boyfriend or
God's
girlfriend
rejected
anymore.
me too?
Second, they're like, so you're telling me God's breaking up with me? Like, just don't play that card. Just go into, I know it's uncomfortable. No one likes it, but no one likes having to break up. But do not play the God card in that situation.
The God card doesn't bother me as much as I'm just going to be dating Jesus.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting with Chad about 6 weeks later.
Exactly.
Just like,
it usually means there's a Chad around the corner, right
there. Because what they're insinuating there is that when they inevitably move on to their next relationship, that them and Jesus broke up.
Wow.
That's true.
I mean, that's what they're saying.
True.
That's what the implication.
I gave Jesus a couple months, and then I was done.
I told him,
to go to the movies.
Jesus, I talked to your dad. He doesn't want us to be together anymore.
Jesus, I talked to your
He told
dad.
us.
No, I had a friend who
God, your dad called me.
That's the
I had a friend
implication.
who his girlfriend broke up with him because she said she felt like she was called to the life of Paul, supposed to be single. And then a year later, she was already engaged. So I guess that life was pretty short-lived. But yeah, just never a good idea to use scripture or God as a reason.
Only if you're trying to sell a car or get out of a ticket. That's the only two times it's okay. Yeah.
I was praying about our relationship. And I really feel like God's telling me that you're called to singleness. I mean, I can't argue with it.
It's not me, it's you.
God wants you to be single.
It's not me.
He's calling you to it.
He's calling me to date Chad while you are being called to singleness. It is what God wants. I'm sorry.
We can't argue with this.
I mean, I love you. I would love to keep dating you, but
gotta
God,
be obedient.
you told me that you need to not date me.
Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
This is my cross to bear.
Yeah. I mean, Paul. Yeah, this happened to Paul when he was in high school too, and that's why look at him. He turned out fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't end well technically for his earthly life, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So hit us up on Twitter @Relevant Podcast and tell us your version or your experience of that
Jamie,
thing.
I appreciate when I say something that makes you uncomfortable, which I feel like is at least once an episode.
At least once a show. Yeah.
That you've learned to just lean back from the mic entirely, so that even
there's no audio proof. Yeah, there's no audio proof that she was even on the
plausible deniability that you reacted at all.
If she was still on the mic, they could identify her breathing patterns or something like that.
Laughing. This is what I've learned. I just stop talking, so then nothing's put on me. But now I feel like my laughter is going to they're going to call me into the principal's office because of my laughter. So now I'm just move back.
Yeah.
All right. But before we wrap things up, I want to thank Henry and Alex Seeley for joining us today. Make sure to check out the Belonging Co.'s amazing worship albums wherever you get your music. It's worth adding to your worship rotation. That's great stuff. We are looking to hire right now a couple positions. The first one we're looking to hire is if you are a freelance audio or video editor, we want to hear from you. If you're listening to the show right now and you do what we do, we're looking to add you to the team, not only to work on this show, but but other shows that we have in the pipeline, plus social media clips and some other stuff. So hit us up. You can check out all the information at relevantmediagroup.com. That's where we post our job listings, and you can apply right there. There's also some other positions like social media content manager and some other stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of months. But right now, looking to hire audio and video editors. So hit us up if you're good at what you do. Hey, make sure to check out the summer issue of Relevant. We told you about it on the last couple shows, but it is out now. It's an exciting issue. Lauren Daigle is the cover story. You don't want to miss that one. It's really vulnerable and a really great story. But we also have like faith leaders like Christine Kane and Judah Smith in the issue. We have Naomi Rain and Arizona and a bunch more. It is available for free. Just click on the magazine tab at relevantmagazine.com. You can read everything there. If you'd like the beautifully designed enhanced edition, it's part of Relevant Plus. You can subscribe to Relevant Plus and get ad-free unlimited reading at the website, an ad-free version of this podcast. Like I said, our digital magazine and a lot more. Plans start as low as $250 a month, and you can find out all the information by clicking the R Plus tab right there at relevantmagazine.com. But check it out. Summer issue's out now. You don't want to miss it. All right. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
Who is back from Uganda. We're glad you're back. All right. We will see you guys on Tuesday, July 4th. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I'll have coffee when I want coffee. Car.
Relevant Podcast Network.